Do people think your family is good looking? That's today's question. Hi, I'm Sunny, and I have 6 piles you guys can choose from. From left to right, I have pile 1, 2, and 3, followed by 4, 5, and 6 from top to bottom. And so, if you need more time, you're more than welcome to think about the question and maybe think about a specific person or several people in your family, or maybe the whole family as a whole, and then select the pile of your choice when you're ready. So, do keep in mind it's a yes or no format in case I did not say that. So for pile number 1, you guys have a yes. You guys have the 8 of Cups upright. So for you guys, I feel that the general feeling is that people do think they are good looking, but maybe they have to walk away from them because maybe the people they think are kind of beautiful and stuff are taken or married, or maybe out of their league, or maybe they feel like they won't reciprocate those feelings. Not so much like a heartbreaker type of vibe, but it feels more like they know that the people they might think they're beautiful in the family are already taken. Therefore, it's like it would be disrespectful to come in and like try to hit on them, of course. So that could be a scenario. Or they feel that maybe they will have to walk away because they may be at a distance, or maybe the people that are available are also at a distance, that are beautiful, or just not in touch with that. Not that they're not in touch with their emotions, but rather they're not in touch with that like romantic sense of them. They're just kind of like facing away, maybe because of disappointment or something. So that's what I have for you. You're more than welcome to select your own interpretation of this, but I will go ahead and start with the next one. So pile number 2, you guys have the Knight of Wands upright. So this is a yes for you. People do think that your family is good looking. Pile number 2, they definitely think they're very they're a very hot bunch, and I think it's predominantly men. Maybe you are a female, you have a strong, like, not a strong masculine energy, but just very like fierce, and like that masculine energy is not like oh you're so tough and stuff. Like it feels more like you, I always feel this is like Mariah Carey in her earlier days, where she was fierce in that way, where it's like very direct, very va va boom, or very like temptress. But it's just the way she appeared, not so much her personality. It's just like she was very secure in herself. She loved her self-expression when it came to her clothing. Like I do know that she didn't like being controlled and stuff. And once she had her own say in her clothing styles, she became very SEXY, right? Where she really liked to show off her assets, or really liked showing her legs, or really liked anything that was form-fitted. So it could be like that, where the people in your family like showing off their figures, and they like form-fitted stuff, or they like knowing that they're the people that work out and then show off their bodies, or just they're people that are out there jogging and stuff, and they know they look good and they get honked at. Or it could be that way, where it feels like this energy is more youthful, so maybe there's a lot more younger people in your family and they get checked out pretty often, and that includes you too, possibly. But it feels like people check out the men, or people check you out even at that, because you like to work out, or you embody that like very flirtatious energy, very flirtatious bunch even at that. So I also think maybe your family could also just be very flirtatious overall, and that is what keeps them youthful too. That maybe they are older, but their charisma is a lot younger, and maybe that's why they're pretty much a good hot bunch. So thank you, pile number 2. Next is pile number 3. You guys have a no. This is the 10 of Cups reversed. Now keep in mind, some people don't like to know that their families are like checked out. Like I understand that. Maybe this is your pile number 3. But no, people don't think necessarily everybody's good looking. I think maybe just a select few. But even then, I just feel the majority of them are like, it's not that they're bad lookers, but more so if even you, if you had to come from an outside perspective, you're like, ew, gross. Like, like my divorced uncle looks disgusting. Like it could be like that. Or it could be where you're like, oh no, my cousin, oh man, they're so messy. Like, no, they're just gross. Like they just let themselves go. Or maybe to your perspective and your own expectations, like they could do better, because you know they're potentially better looking, but they choose to just either let themselves go because they're unhappy, or they choose to just, because they're maybe like, sometimes you can also relate, some people can relate to that, where you're kind of maybe not self-sufficient, how can I say, when you feel that you already have a person, you don't even try to put the effort in still trying to impress them or trying to make them feel like they're romanced. It feels like that. It could be like that. So maybe that's why they're not that great looking, because their personalities might not match that either. Like, even if they are good looking, they have some very lousy, like lazy personalities that does not match their looks. And so that's why maybe it might not be as attractive to you even at that, like when you see that overall. So maybe that's why specifically this pile, because it's cup energy, it feels like emotions have something to do with it, putting that effort into romance, into talking about their feelings, or maybe they're icier. It just feels like there's a discontentment here. This broken family kind of feeling, like maybe it's a family of divorcees and that's why they're not that great looking. It's like the years weren't kind to them, the stress wasn't kind to them, they weren't that great people, they're not great marriage partners maybe. And that's why it's a no. So do keep in mind that this can just be some people, but I'm just generalizing here as a general reading, and this is why it's a no. So next, pile number 4, you guys have a no. This is the 5 of Swords. Sorry, I was gonna say 5 of Wands. 5 of Swords reversed. So the reason why people don't necessarily think they're good looking, you're a good looking family, this doesn't mean it's just you, or maybe it's just them. Really, put it into perspective of how this can overall entertain that idea, where they might just be people who on the down low they kind of fight or argue a lot, or they start a lot of drama, and maybe that's why people don't think they're that good looking. Or maybe they're catty people, or maybe they're people who are like the kind of people who want to start drama just so that they can take other people's partners, for example. Or maybe they're just over dramatic, or it could feel like that, or they're just too, the communication's poor. I also think that might have to do. I don't think their personalities are that great. I think that maybe they're either too passive or too boring and too plain, or they're just overly dramatic, right? It could be a mix of both, because I do feel it's more like I'm generalizing more than one person here. So keep that in mind, and that's why it's a no. But overall, this feels like maybe people have a hard time getting to know them or checking them out, because they're always kind of like in their own bubble, or they don't try to socialize with people, and it's kind of a harder time to actually even consider them good looking or check them out, because they're always like angry maybe, or maybe they're just argumentative, or just isolate, like not isolated, but like in their own bubble, like at home or something, arguing and fighting, that it's not like people can come in and like check them out, it's not like they're in public socializing. Or maybe they're just not good with words. It just feels like communication has something to do with the fact that why people wouldn't necessarily consider them, why they're good looking. Maybe also they look very old, because sword energy is also youthful when they're kind of talkative and entertaining, and maybe that's why people are like, oh, this person's so antiquated, or they're so out of touch, or just old, or just creepy. Like, maybe it can be like that. Maybe if you're just channeling a specific person or 2 or 3 people in your family, you're like, I wonder if people check them out. Yeah, no, they don't. So I hope you enjoyed that answer, pile number 4. So next, pile number 5, yeah, you guys have the 3 of Swords upright. So yes, people check out your family. They think your family is good looking. I do think they're a bit of a heartbreaker, or heartbreakers bunch. And I think you know this. I think maybe the men and women in your family, regardless of their age, know that they have it. And maybe they can maybe they're the kind of people that like to have friends with benefits, or maybe they have this open relationship thing, and maybe that's why it's hard for them to commit to a specific person. Or maybe people fall in love with them and they get rejected a lot because they get confessions all the time. So it can be like that, where they're like, well, I mean, it's not my fault I'm that good looking. But it can feel that vibe where like of course they're good looking, but I think they cause a lot of heartbreak. Maybe they're have a bit of a wandering eye themselves, or maybe they have that thing about, having a side piece on the side, or having a long committed extra partner outside from their own partnership. It's one of those things where you know that maybe, just maybe, they have quite the reputation that's not well received from others, and they know, and that's why maybe they talk some ish about them, because they're like, oh yeah, like all that family, they're just bad trouble. But yeah, overall this pile just feel like they know that your family's good looking. I do think that you have this pile feels like a bit of a seductive energy. Maybe your family does know how to seduce people. Maybe they charm people with their words to get to what they want, basically, get people into bed. Maybe they're just that great of a talker. They really know how to communicate and talk with people and make them feel at ease and relaxed, but a little too relaxed sometimes maybe. But I also think that can also be turned into like them being critical of people, like that person likes me, ew, like I would never go out with that person, or I can't believe that person actually told me that they liked me. Like I would just, why? Like I thought they knew I was just messing around. Like I didn't really mean it. Like I didn't mean that they liked them like that. It could be like that. Sometimes they just like to play with emotions. So a bit of a player card in here, but they like to play with emotions here, people's hearts, and that's why you have that bit of a heartbreak kind of feeling for the family. Maybe this is also you, but that's the vibe I get here. But overall, I'm just sticking to like whether they're good looking overall. So yes, they are. They break hearts, pile number 5. So last but not least, pile number 6, you guys have a no. This is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So for this pile, people don't think that they're good looking, but it's because maybe a majority of them are, maybe your family's forced, like not forced, but they're full of children. Like of course it's like they're not of age, right? They're not even like oh, like they're great looking. Nah, like there's too many kids. Maybe that's maybe that's right. There's a lot of moms maybe. Maybe they're taken, but it just feels like your family's very like not old fashioned, but very prim and proper, maybe just basic, to where you're like, oh, they're aging well, right? They're aging well, but like they could do a little bit extra, like they can fix their hair, or they can shave their beard and like color the hair they wanted to, or wear more fitted clothes, or modern clothes. Or maybe if they just wore like a little heel here and there, or maybe if they added some perfume, or like they added some jewelry, or like some accessories, like maybe you're like they can like bump up their game and like go to like a 7 or a 10 or something. But it just feels like that's not their worries. I think they're kind of focused on their own internal growth maybe, or whatever makes them feel like self-sufficient, their values, their foundations. Family comes important, maybe family's big here, so I feel that I just don't think that's their priority. I think one of the other piles had a similar vibe. But yeah, I mean, they're decent looking, but if you're trying to say are they hot looking overall, like everybody, not really. But they're like safe options. They're like the people that you see like in the background of like any picture you see, right? On like maybe a magazine or maybe on like Instagram or Facebook or something. Like they blend in, they look practical and normal, but they're not like something out of the ordinary beautiful and stuff. It's just very basic, very like a very generic type of feel when it comes to their appearance. Safe, it just feels safe for them. And maybe it takes more time for people to get to notice. They're actually like they focus more on inner beauty rather than outer beauty, which is great. It's always good and welcome, but I'm just answering the question. I wanted to answer it that way, where do people check out your family because they're good looking, So this is a no. I think there's a certain respect for them, and they wouldn't cross those boundaries, and that's why they're like they're warm-hearted people, but I just think that it's not like that. And I think maybe you feel safe maybe at that, where it's like you make sure that like none of your coworkers maybe are like checking them out. Like you never know, you're like, who has it for my aunt? Who has it for my cousin or something? So it can be like that sometimes, where you're like, are they trying to get together with this person, and you're just kind of wondering. But no, there's respect here. It's just a no overall. They're just being polite. So I hope you enjoyed that message. You're more than welcome to interpret a different message if you feel it's different, or select a different path if it calls to you. So thank you everybody for watching to the very end. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It helps me out with my algorithm, and I'll see you in a different video. So bye everybody.